Chip Maxwell with you. It's Check with Chip on 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. The Answer, 402-498-KOTK. Chip at theansweromaha.com. We can squeeze in a call or two here. Pastor James Hunter is thoroughly immersed in the microphone in the studio right next door. He's got some pressing business to handle, but we'll get him in here as soon as we can. We want to get his thoughts. And as he said, start putting this country back together. We're talking about the protests. Another thing about that 60 Minutes interview with Leslie Stahl that Donald Trump did, and she's pressing him. Well, we've got people out there who feel unsafe, minorities, Muslims, and so forth. And, you know, we've got some reports of Trump supporters harassing them. And there was something in the World Herald about that. And Trump said, well, I'm telling them right now, stop it, knock it off. But we had a caller last week who said, was talking about, I believe he said it was his daughter or his stepdaughter. I don't remember the exact connection, but someone he cares very much about, who, as a young African-American woman, felt nervous going out into society after the Trump victory. And I don't know, most of what I've seen, the confirmed, documented reports of verbal and physical attacks, shootings even, shouting down speakers on college campuses, adult children screening their parents from their own children. In other words, grandparents, you can't see your grandchildren, our children, because you voted for Trump. This is all from the left toward the right. I haven't seen or heard that much right-on-left abuse. It's more coming from the left toward the right, partly because, as Pat Vendetti was just saying, you've got an education establishment who is hammering away at kids on what the right result should be, and it didn't happen. And so it's creating a problem. And I'm going to read, while Pastor James Hunter gets settled into the microphone, I'm going to share something with you. This is a local murder trial, and we'll see what you think, and we'll find out what Pastor James Hunter thinks. If I see a connection here with the election result and this trial result. Okay, very, very sad situation. Two men in a vehicle, and they're using marijuana. They were planning to sell some marijuana. Some teenagers, 3 teenagers, come up and surround them, and the 2 men in the vehicle end up getting shot. One of them dies, so it's a murder trial. The other one is wounded, but he survives and is the key witness in the case that ended up one of the youngsters. Well, let me read you a few lines from the story and we'll get to it. A 19-year-old murdered defendant's relatives screamed expletives Thursday as the jury's guilty verdicts were announced in court. Jamar Milton had entered the Douglas County courtroom in his oversized suit, beaming at his mother. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly, Iania Moss. But she soon was ordered out by sheriff's deputies after a clerk read aloud the first of 4 verdicts against Milton. What the expletive? Moss yelled after a second-degree murder conviction was announced. Are you serious? After Milton was found guilty of 1 count of felony firearm use, his sister stood up crying. Are you all serious? The 18-year-old shrieked. That is crazy. Oh, I swear to God. The sister refused commands by Douglas County law enforcement officers to leave. A female sheriff's deputy grabbed the girl's flailing arms and took her to the hallway, where her gut-wrenching screams continued. She would join her brother in jail, booked on suspicion of obstructing government operations and resisting arrest. As 2 other guilty counts were read, first-degree assault and a second weapons charge, another young woman left. Now here's a quote from this other unidentified woman. That's crazy that y'all get to decide whether people get to go to jail or not, she said as she stared at the jury. Now, I did not study that case. I don't know all the facts of it. I don't enjoy reading that to, the gut-wrenching screams of a mother whose son was just convicted. That's terrible. That's heart-scalding. But that comment by the woman, well, this is crazy that she's looking at the jury, that you people get to decide who goes to jail or not. Well, that's our system. It's supposed to be to the defendant's benefit, a jury of your peers. Instead of letting the government just railroad you into jail, government's going to have to convince a jury of your peers that you are guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And, that's our system. And I look at the election result, and we've got people saying, well, I don't accept this. This is crazy. This is, and I don't know where we go from here. And that's why I'm going to throw it to Pastor James Hunter, because the words he spoke to me were, whatever happens, you and I are going to have to start putting this country back together. Pastor James Hunter, how do we start doing that? Welcome, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Chip. It's good to be here. Yes, it's time for you and I and everybody else to put our country back together. We do live in the greatest country in the world. And what took place a couple of weeks ago was wonderful. It just shows how somebody can rise up with no political experience and come to the forefront. Now, because of my belief and my religious conviction and my relationship with God, God allowed it. So do we fall apart, and do we separate and divide and start a civil war? No. We come together as a people, as brothers, as brothers and sisters all across this country. We come together and we unite under our new leader.
Now, the words you're speaking, they are driving right into my heart. I don't mind saying that right now on the air, because I don't know if you people, these are not scripted, our conversations. And sometimes James and I agree, and sometimes we disagree. But his words have great meaning to me right now, because if you listen to our previous two conversations, he was quite fired up, Chip Maxwell, how can you vote for a crude clod like Donald Trump?
Exactly.
And I've mixed it up with other people, including white people have said the same thing. How can you vote for this guy? So it isn't just a racial thing. But you also said, I'll tell you, I kind of agree with Bill Clinton. When I hear "Make America Great Again," what does that mean exactly? Are we pushing back to segregation? So you had some deep-seated concerns about this man being elected president, but you are now saying, hey, if this is the will of God, we've got to find a way to work with it. Am I reading it correctly?
Yeah, exactly. That I want him to be voted in because of things that he said. Do I know him personally? No, I don't. I only know him through the media, whatever outlet it is, radio, television, social media. That's the only way that I know him and what he has said. The things that he said was very disturbing to me. But on election day, he was elected President of the United States. I'm a citizen of the United States. I support and believe in this country, believe in the Constitution. And he has been elected as president, and it's my duty now to support him. Now, I don't believe, I didn't believe everything that, or agreed with everything President Barack Obama did and said. But he was my president. I give him the utmost respect. Donald J. Trump has been elected president of the United States, and I will give him that utmost respect. And most of all, I will give him my prayers. I will pray for him that he succeed, because as he succeed, we succeed.
Amen to that. We're visiting with Pastor James Hunter here, the politician and the preacher, as he has coined our monthly conversations. You just used a phrase that you said, I didn't agree with everything President Obama said and did, but he was my president. Those words, my president, registered with me because we have quite a few people around the country holding up signs saying, not my president.
Right.
But it sounds to me like, you're not backing off on your concerns or any of the things you voiced before about Donald Trump, but you are willing to say, hey, for better or worse, he is my president now. He won it fair and square.
Exactly. So let's come together and let's uphold him. Let's lift him up. All of us, the Christians, the evangelicals, let's lift him up in prayer and pray for him that our country can be great.
Wow. Our politician and preacher segment has gotten off to quite a start here. There's more to dig into here on this. We'll revisit the topic with Pastor James Hunter on the other side of this break. I'm Chip Maxwell. This is Check with Chip on 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. The Answer.
The whole town's talking. What to say? The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking. What to say? The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking. What to say? The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking. The whole town's talking.
Hey, welcome back. It's Check with Chip on 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. The Answer, 4025. I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold off on the number and the email. Usually we'd invite you into the conversation. Well, I just found out several things. Number one, I found out it is Pastor James Hunter's birthday. Happy birthday to you, sir. God bless you.
Thank you.
And because of that, he's got plans this morning. He's got people that want to take him to breakfast. So we've only got him for a few more minutes. That's why he was a little late getting in here. He had to get his program for tomorrow. Remember, the Sweet Hour of Prayer, 9 to 9:30 on our Salem sister station, KCRO, Sunday mornings, 9 to 9:30. He had to get that done, and he's popped in with us for a few minutes here. So we've got to pack an hour's worth of conversation into 5 or 10 minutes here. So I'm going to throw it to Pastor James Hunter for whatever time he has left with us. I drop in one little seed here of thought that I want to, as he gives us his thoughts coming out of the election. Do you, Pastor James Hunter, think that you speak for a majority in the African-American community? Because one of the arguments out there is, well, a lot of this protest, that's just paid agitators doing their thing. What do you think what is your sense of the pulse of the African-American community as we come out of this election and try to move forward as a country?
Well, Chip, first of all, I want to say thank you again for allowing me to come on your radio program and to share my thoughts. Yes, I'm an African American. I'm black, and I'm proud of it. And I'm also an American. And I won't say that I represent all African Americans in my comments, but I can tell you I can represent those that are in my circle and what I'm about to say. I really feel that on November the 8th, a lot of people were hurt, disappointed, frustrated. I talked to some people the next day that were physically sick because of the results of the election. A lot of people was hoping and praying that the results that we ended up with would not happen. It didn't turn out that way. I was telling Chip during the break that the world didn't end on November the 8th. On November the 9th, we got up and we started a new day. And I'm going to coin the phrase or repeat the phrase that Donald Trump have coined, make America great again.
Wow.
Let's make America great again. We've come through diversity. We've come through trials. We've gone through wars. We've had political upheaval. We've had a lot of things. In my lifetime, I just turned 60 years old. I remember President John F. Kennedy. I remember when he was assassinated. So I've seen a lot over the last 60 years. And you know what? As a country, we got through it. Every situation, every problem, every national disaster, every terrorist attack, everything that we've gone through politically, we've gotten through it as a country. And I believe that God allowed this to happen. People in my inner circle are saying things like this, Chip. You know what? If it doesn't do anything, it's gotten us to pray.
Okay.
This situation, now we're praying more than ever before. We're not praying against Donald Trump. We're praying for Donald Trump because as he succeeds, we succeed as a country. And we are a part of this country. Maybe a minority, but we are a part of this country. So I think that we will come together. We will get stronger. What comes against us makes us stronger. So
it makes us link arms and unify.
Exactly.
And are you going to let yourself be divided and conquered? Or you are straying into territory where I love to go and some people fear to tread. We're talking about spirituality. We're talking about faith.
Yes.
We're talking about, do you want to let the devil divide and conquer. And make us even angrier at each other and more distant from each other? Or are we going to kick him out and come together and not leave room for him?
As they say in my church, the devil is a lie.
Well said.
It's not going to happen. We're not going to allow it to happen. We're going to hold up Donald Trump. Do I agree with everybody that I know? No. Does everyone agree with me? You said earlier, you and I bump heads. We don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
But you're my friend and you're my brother.
Amen.
And we will make it together. And so that's what we have to do. We have to come together in spite of our differences, because our differences is what makes us great.
This is warming my heart. This is we've got to go national with you. We've got to get your message out there. It's wonderful. Go ahead.
It's important that we as a people, as you as a politician, a radio talk show host, as a white man, sit down and have conversations with me,
right?
A black man, a preacher, a businessman in the community, and sit down and discuss. I can get on and talk about white people and talk about division and racism and all of this, but until we can sit down and dialogue and work through our differences, we will find out that we got more in common than we have that are different. And we can make some things happen. That's why I said it's on your shoulders. It's on my shoulders to bring this country back together again. I don't mean to sound preachy, but
but you're right. There's too much. Well, it's up to Donald Trump, or it's up to this person. It's not going to. It's like a sports team. You can have a great coach or a great owner, but if the players don't come together and decide to own it and make it happen, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Donald Trump can't do a lot of things that he said. The one thing I want to say, and then I gotta go.
Okay.
Donald Trump, he looked like he was shocked that he won. He couldn't believe that. You mean I really won this?
Yeah.
And then the conversation that he had with President Obama, and if I could just paraphrase it, he really didn't understand the scope of the presidency, what it all entailed, what it all involved. And he looked like, wow, what have I gotten myself into?
Possibly.
But he's there, and he's the man that is at the helm of our country, and we got to hold him up.
I wish you could be here in the studio with me, seeing Pastor James. He is alive. He is glowing. His heart is really in this, and I really appreciate it. He certainly touched my heart with his words. So I promised we'd let him go after 5 minutes, so we'll let him out of here today, but we'll get him back again next month. The politician and the preacher, Pastor James Hunter, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Chip. It's always a pleasure to be with you. God bless you.
Check with Chip on 94.5 FM, 1420 AM. The Answer.
Talking, old times talking.